The importance of the lotus seed in Hatha Yoga. Hello, this is Chris speaking, Shores of Infinity, with a video about the importance of the lotus seed. How you sit cross-legged if you meditate, when you meditate or do Hatha Yoga or any other kind of exercises. How important is it that you sit cross-legged and your outer thighs and your knees touch the floor? Well, some people can just do it. They don't need to practice at all for this. For example, most people from Asia who are used to sit on the floor a lot can easily do it because of their sinews and ligaments. They allow this easily because they're just used to it. Others who grew up in the West and who are used to sit on chairs, for most of them it's more difficult, but for some of them it's also easy. It's just a matter of ligaments. This way, it has nothing to do with any kind of spirituality, meditation, Hatha Yoga and whatnot. If you sit cross-legged and your knees point up, then you just ruin your knees and your back and your neck, and you may get injured, or at least you get up with more pain than before. So again, this has nothing to do with spirituality or Hatha Yoga or any other kind of yoga. If you come into any yoga class and the teacher already sits there at the end of the room, cross-legged in lotus position, knees on the floor, waiting for the pupils to sit down and contort themselves to do the same, don't sit down, but leave the room. This is not a good teacher. A good Hatha Yoga teacher or meditation teacher will have a look, what does the student need? What do they need to perfect their nadis, their acupuncture meridians in Indian terminology are called nadis. What do the students need for the nadis to work perfectly? Hatha or Raja Yoga teacher can see nadis, can perceive it, and can see which nadis flow properly and which don't flow properly. And then you can adjust this with Hatha Yoga or Qigong or whatever positions, asanas. And there are some asanas that are easy, that everyone can do. You can do standing, for example, or lying down, where you don't have to contort yourself. If you want to contort yourself, just do some stretching. Don't have to go to a Hatha Yoga class. Everyone can do stretching. If you're already comfortable with asanas, standing, lying down and so on, then you can advance to other asanas that may have some benefit to you, that are more difficult. But they're only useful if you need them. So again, the question is, what kind of asanas do you need to perfect the flow, the energy, the prana flow in your nadis today? Or to perfect the turning of the chakras of your subtle body today. And this will not be the same for everyone, so it doesn't make any sense for a teacher to show any exercises and then everyone else to repeat them. All the same. Because the probability that everyone will have the same blockages is next to zero. And if you sit down in a lotus position and you can't do the lotus position, you're very, very far away from any kind of a lotus position, then you will create more blockages, which is not the purpose of Hatha Yoga. The purpose of Hatha Yoga and Qigong and other practices like that is to create flow. Tong in Chinese. I can't think of the Indian Sanskrit or Tamil word right now. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's flow. It's not to create more blockages. So, the straighter or rounder a posture is, the more flow it promotes, the more bent any joints are, the less flow it creates. Unless there is some other reason for it. In the lotus posture, the main reason for the lotus posture is if you can do it properly and easily, then it's very easy to sit up straight. And to sit up straight is, of course, very helpful for all the chakras and nadis because of the spine. If the spine is straight, then the nadis in the spine or in the torso can flow properly. So you sacrifice the flow of the nadis in the legs for the more important flow of the nadis in the torso and the spine. If you can't sit up straight because you're not used to sit on the floor, then everything is for naught. Then everything is bent and there's no flow. So the lotus posture is only helpful if you can do it perfectly, so that you can promote sitting up straight. But what is much more easier than sitting in the lotus posture and still have a straight spine is to lie down on your back or to stand up. Then you also have a straight spine. And you don't need to contort your legs and rack your knees. I know a lot of people who rack their knees trying to force themselves into the lotus posture. Another way to do it is to sit on a chair. If you're used to sit on a chair, then you can sit on a chair. The aim is to have a straight spine, not to make a pretzel out of your legs. I'm recording this being on Bali, 7 o'clock in the morning. My wife went to the yoga lesson, meaning Hatha Yoga, of course. There's a plane flying ahead. I'm watching the sunrise. And I went with my wife to the Hatha Yoga lesson. And this is exactly what happened. There was a guy sitting at the end of the room. The sunlight was streaming in behind him, so you couldn't see him. He looked like a Buddha sitting there in perfect lotus posture. And some Western women were sitting down on the mats trying to contort themselves into pretzels. And their knees were pointing up. And he was talking some bullshit about the mind before they started, waiting for everyone to arrive. This is the time where you leave the room and do something else. Do some Hatha Yoga or Qigong, or some stretching even on the beach by yourself will be more beneficial than listening to some would-be guru. For some reason, Westerners are obsessed with Asians being gurus because they're from Asia. That's very, very weird. Being it martial arts or meditation or Hatha Yoga or Qigong or whatever. The things you need to be a good teacher is to be able to teach. to know how to teach, and to feel or perceive somehow what the pupils need, where they are stuck, and how to help them to unstick themselves, to create flow. This has nothing to do with nationality and nothing to do with lotus posture. Okay, have fun with the exercises. See you soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for all patrons. And thank you for joining me as a patron, and see you soon.